I waited almost 5 hours to enter the Criterion Closet at the New York Film Festival, and I'm going to walk you through my experience and share some tips. Hi, hello, I'm Kathy, and I love watching movies, talking about movies, and writing silly and sometimes thirsty reviews on Letterboxd. The Criterion Closet is hitting the road, so if you're planning to go in the future, this video is for you. Of course, your experience may vary because they might change up some things, but I thought it will be helpful to have a detailed video outlining everything. Wait until the end to see the footage from inside the closet. I'm assuming you know what Criterion is if you're watching this video, but if not, they're a company dedicated to preserving, curating, and publishing important movies. From 4K to Blu-rays, they have a variety of films from different genres and time periods in their collection. Many celebrities, directors, and industry pros have filmed their closet picks video. It's a dream for many to enter the closet, pull their favorite movies, and talk about them. And luckily, they're making this dream a reality with their Criterion Closet tour in the US. I'm going to reference this blog post. It literally tells you everything you need to know. But for those who don't like to read, don't worry, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. For the first round, it was attached to the New York Film Festival, so the dates were tied to whenever the festival was happening. I assume they'll release an updated version for every stop they'll be making, but it's always a good idea to keep an eye out on their social media. Another good source for me specifically was the film festival subreddit. I found a lot of helpful and specific information here. But obviously, if your stop doesn't have a film festival or organization tied to it, then this will not apply. They offered this on 2 different weekends on both Saturday and Sunday for a total of 4 days. They officially opened at 11 a.m. and ended at 9 p.m. But again, this could change. In fact, they just announced the dates for Brooklyn, which is October 26th and 27th, and it looks like the duration has been shortened from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So how does it actually work? Well, the first thing is that it's free. There's no reservation system. You just line up. It's first come, first served. Up to 3 people can share a closet visit, but you can go alone if you want. Everyone in line gets a free Criterion tote bag. Inside the tote bag, there's the printed pocket guide, which has literally all their movies and spine numbers listed. The booklet includes the box sets as well. There's a time limit of 3 minutes, which goes by very quickly. You can film your own closet video or just shop around. They also have a person there who will help suggest movies based on your favorite films or general vibe that you're looking for. During your visit, you will be on camera and it's almost always rolling. They use the footage for their supercuts they release on social, and you will have to sign a waiver for that. You're not obligated to buy anything, but if you want, you're allowed to get 3 items per person at 40% off. And yes, they do take credit cards. The blog post says something about having limited Criterion merch for sale, but I didn't see anything during my visit. At the end of your visit, you get a Polaroid taking of you in the closet with your pics. If you go in with multiple people, each person gets one. For example, I went in with a party of 2, and the first Polaroid was just me alone, and then the second Polaroid was me and my husband. One note, they said the closet isn't wheelchair accessible. The truck is a Freightliner MT45 step van, and they have metal steps leading up to the back. So if you have mobility issues, it might be an issue. But their blog post also says that you can still get the tote bag and stuff even if you can't access the truck. So for the next part, I'm going to walk you through step by step throughout my entire day and let you know when I entered, when I woke up, all that stuff. I ended up not being able to make it to the first weekend because I was busy, but I was thankful because it was super, super rainy and disgusting out. However, I was watching social media like a hawk and looking at stories and Reddit posts and just trying to see like how the lines were. Some required reading is this Reddit post by ZWolf94. I found it incredibly helpful, so I'm going to link it in the description below. It's safe to say that this will be a popular event, so expect long lines. So knowing this, when the second weekend came around, I knew I had to wake up super early to beat the crowds. Literally woke up at 5 a.m. Ew. No matter what, I knew I was going to be waiting in line for hours, and I was hoping that I would get a good spot, at least in an area where I could actually see the truck and have that motivation to keep going. So 7:40 is when I managed to actually get in the back of the line. And by this point, there were probably 20-ish people ahead of me, and I was a little surprised because I expected more people to be prepped for the second weekend, especially because this was a nice day with no rain. If you take a look at this video from their IG story, I was standing about here. At 9:21 a.m., that's when the Criterion Closet pulls in and they start getting ready. 11 a.m. is when the closet officially opens. Even though there weren't that many people ahead of us, it did take some time because they could pull celebs or industry people to film their videos first without waiting in line. I also saw that they had some signs with time markers, like if you're standing here, the wait is 2 hours or something. I didn't have experience with the sign since my position was way before the sign, so I did not get to look at that specifically, but I saw them bringing out too. Here's a quick rundown of things that happened to me while I was online. The first thing was the staff handing out tote bags, which had the pocket guide and a postcard for 1 free month of Criterion channel. Another staff member handed out these cute Criterion buttons and chatted with us for a little bit. Later on, they came around and passed out snacks to everyone. It was a mixture of like nuts and crackers and maybe bars, and I still have mine. This was super considerate, and the staff is so great, and it definitely contributed to my positive experience because waiting online sucks in general, no matter what you're waiting for. When you start to get closer to the front, there's 2 checkpoints. There's one person checking people in. You have to give them a confirmation code, and they tell you how to do that once you get online. And another person before them who can answer any general questions. So after you're done checking in, you stand there waiting at the foot of the metal stairs. The people who went before you will exit, and then Valeria will pop out of the truck and welcome you in. Fun fact, she works on the actual Criterion pick videos, so you're getting the true authentic experience. At about 12:30-ish is when I finally enter the closet. I will go more into detail in my next section where I will share my closet tips. And at 12:38 is when I'm done with everything. I paid for my purchases. I even had a chat with some of the staff, and one of them even commented on one of my purchases and asked to take a picture of me holding it up. So my 15 seconds of fame, I guess. So now it's the main event. You've entered the closet, and damn, the 3 minutes goes by so fast. They start the timer once you step into the closet, and that includes camera setup, so you don't have extra time to set up and then talk for 3 minutes. So your spiel has to be less than that. Obviously, if you're just shopping around and not worrying about filming a video, you'll be fine, but my tips will be for those who want to shoot their own video. Tip number 1, let's talk about cameras. I read on the blog post that they would have a wall mount, but know that it's just for your phone. If you have a DJ Pocket 3 or another camera, you won't be able to use their mount. Plus, there's no time to set up anything fancy. Valeria said to go with whatever option was quicker when I asked her about holding the camera or whether setting it down would be better. So in the end, I just had someone hold the camera, which wasn't ideal, but c'est la vie. So when you walk into the closet, there's that main section where you stand and you're surrounded by all the beautiful splendor. But in front of you, they were basically like these white wooden ledges that you could put your stuff down. So theoretically, you could have your camera ready to go on like a baby tripod and just like put that there. It's a little anxiety inducing, but that's why you're watching my videos, so I can help you figure your stuff out and be prepared. If you do use their phone mount, you'll probably get the best possible angle because the mount is close to where their actual camera guy is. The kind of backstage area where the cameraman and Valeria is very tight, so don't bring anything bulky or big. Oh, and if you care about sound quality, I would suggest bringing a mic. The truck lets in a lot of outside noise. Tip number 2, decide what movies you're going to pick beforehand, but if you're a Criterion fan, I expect you to have practiced your spiel in the shower at some point. You could be like me and have little notes written down of what you want to say. I have like 4 index cards, but I didn't even get through all my notes. So, or you could be normal and think about one bullet point that you want to get across for each movie. I kept my film order stagnant, so I would have like anchor points to hold on to if I got sidetracked, so I knew what 3 movies I was going to pick and in what order. Tip number 3, while you don't have to memorize the exact spine number of the movies you're going to pick, having an idea of what range the spine number is in will help you find the movies easier. For me, the lower number spines were on my right hand side, and my other 2 picks, which were in the 700 to 900 range, were on my left side. The Reddit post I referenced earlier suggests pulling your movies first and then talking about them afterwards. This is a great option, but the idea totally flew out of my brain when I walked into the closet and forgot everything. Tip number 4, if you're nervous, just take a deep breath. For all my solo travelers, it'll just be you, Valeria, and the cameraman. There won't be anyone else unless you brought your friends, so no need to worry about that. And Valeria is really nice, so you can like make eye contact with her while you're talking and also lean on her if you need any help. I don't really get as nervous with public speaking compared to younger me, so I don't really have any tips on that, but I would say what helps me the most is just if I'm prepared and knowledgeable and passionate about it, it should be easy to talk about it. Don't beat yourself up if you say something weird or are awkward on camera, because I feel like that's just the fun in it. So after you pulled all your movies, you get a Polaroid taken of you. She's going to ask you to fan out the movies and she'll take a picture of you. And for those nerds at home, I noticed they use the green Fujifilm Instax Wide 400 camera. For extra accuracy, you can sign your photo with your name and date. I did this later at home. Valeria will also ask you if you're going to purchase any of the movies that you're holding. You'll return whatever you're not going to buy, and she will grab any additional movies you want, and then you'll sadly exit the truck. Some other general tips include: bring some seating if you can. I had my foldable click chair, and it was the major reason why I wasn't cranky. I was able to fit it in my larger tote bag, and while it was kind of heavy and annoying to lug around, it was 100% worth it. An alternative would be to bring an old blanket or something similar so you can just sit on the floor, eat a big breakfast if you can, and obviously bring your own snacks and water. Even better, have someone in your party go and pick up some food nearby. But just be careful of not overeating or overdrinking, because you're gonna have to figure out your bathroom situation in a bit. Don't be afraid to chat with other people online. I was standing in front of 3 people who went there by themselves, and a couple hours in, they were all talking and yapping nonstop. It was really cute and heartwarming to see. It definitely helps pass the time, and you know you have at least one thing in common with the people standing in line. So if your future date is tied to a film festival, you may have to dedicate your entire day to it or wake up super early. I heard stories of people who had to leave the line early because they had to make their showings. So just prep your day and make sure you have enough time to do the things you need. So those were all my tips. Here's my footage in all its glory. Oh my god, I'm nervous. I can't believe I'm in the Criterion closet. So to make things easier, I'm gonna have a theme today. So I'm gonna pull movies that have good costume design, because I love clothes. So the first movie I'm gonna pull is Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love, inspired by my outfit right here. Right there. Yes, okay. This is set in 1960s Hong Kong, and nostalgia is weaved throughout it, and there's literally, if you count them, at least 20 cheongsams, which is these Chinese dresses. There's at least 20 of them, and the reason why they look so good is because the costume designer, William Chang, literally used old school Hong Kong Chi Pao master to create the dresses, so that's why they all look so good on Maggie Cheung. So amazing. Next up is Donkey Skin by Jacques Demy. Has a lot of, since it's set in a fairy tale world, the costumes are really fun and really beautiful and very, very colorful. And I love that there's like certain whimsy about everything. It's like as if like a child designed the clothes, but I think that's part of the charm. And they don't care about historical accuracy here. They kind of pull from different time periods and mash them up all together. So I think this movie certainly is a feast for the eyes. And my last one, I can't leave without The Heiress by William Wyler. This is the movie that got Edith Head her first Academy Award for Best Costume. She would go on to win 7 more after that, which is so iconic. I think what I like about this is that she goes through like a character, like a character development throughout the story, and the costumes follow that. It's not like a sudden change. It's like a very slow, gradual thing that goes along with the rest of her character development. So, yeah, that's it for my 3. Subscribe if you want, but only if you want. Video essays from me, random ramblings about movies from me, talking about costume design, talking about whatever dumb stuff pops into my head. If you want more of that, subscribe.